What is up, everybody? It is Og here, back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at what I think will be the most profitable gold farm once ZG comes out. We're going to dive into why I think it's going to be the most profitable farm, how you can make the most money out of that farm, and then we're going to jump into the actual strat and show you guys exactly the path that I'm going to be using. Now, I'm going to be using a 2-mage strat just because I think it's going to be more efficient to do so, but you can also solo it. And so if you want to see a solo video, definitely let me know down in the comments below and I can make that. The way that we've been testing this and figuring it out recently is that we've been testing it on my stream. And so if you want to see stuff like this live, and if you want to see me building out these strats and things like that, definitely tune into the Twitch link down below and subscribe to the channel where we'll be making more videos for gold farming and AOE farming and power leveling just like this. Okay, so let's talk about this farm and what makes it profitable. The things to make it profitable are these Hikari bijou drops and the coin drops. So the coin drops give you a quest that basically if you combine 3 different types of coins, you can turn them in and get reputation. The bijous give you an individual quest where if you just turn it in, you get reputation. Now from the bijou quest, you get a total of about 125 rep. The first turn in gives you some additional rep just because it's the very first one, but from there it's going to be 125 per turn in. The green coins you can factor as 25 rep per coin. So what do the reps give you? Well, the reps give you shoulder enchants. They give you some nice items and things like that. The biggest things are probably the shoulder enchants though. And so you want to dive into thinking about, okay, do the top guilds want to get these immediately? Because they actually are really nice. Like the Mage one, for example, is 1% spell hit and some other spell damage and things like that. Like these enchants are actually really, really nice. So you want to think, okay, the top tier guilds are probably going to be wanting to get those enchants as soon as possible once they drop. And so they're going to be spending a good amount of money to try to get those. And they probably have a good amount of money stored up in the bank. So the way that I'm kind of doing a back of the hand math calculation is I'm going to be factoring that some guild will probably pay 5,000 gold to get to Exalted. And that's just a rough estimate of going from 0 to 100 in the first week, about 5,000 gold. It is going to take 336 bijous to go from neutral to Exalted. So when we factor in 336 bijous, it's going to be about 15 gold per bijou. That's with a unlimited supply in the auction house. And so with the decrease in the supply the very first week, because it's brand new, I think that these bijous are probably going to be worth more. And so the way that they're going to be, I'm probably estimating about 20 gold per bijou the first week, anywhere between 20 and 30 gold per blue bijou. Green, since they're 1/5 of the rep, are probably going to be 1/5 of that price. And so it's going to be anywhere between 4 and 6 gold per green coin. The green coins are a little bit more confusing because you have to combine them into 3 different coins. So take 3 coins together and combine them into 1 for a quest. So you have to get each of the coins. So the demand's still going to be there early on just because it's going to be a limited supply in the auction house, but they're probably going to be a little bit cheaper than just the straight out blue bijous where you could just fly through the quests. So basically what happens is you turn in this quest, you get pure reputation, but you also get this other item which you then destroy, and that gives you additional reputation on top of that. Okay, so how do we get those bijous, and how can we do that solo farm? Well, we're going to be killing these Crocolists. So throughout this dungeon, and I'll go pull some just so you guys can see, throughout this dungeon you can see that there's a ton of Crocolists throughout the entire dungeon. Okay, so here we killed 2 packs real quickly, just so I can show you guys the exact loot and you guys can kind of get an idea of how much money you can actually be making just from the Crocolists alone. So if we take a normal price of, let's say, so it's between 20 and 30, so let's say 25 and let's say 5 gold for the green ones, so 25 for the blue and 5 gold for the green ones, and then we go through and we loot this. We got 1 green, 2 green. So that was a pretty unlucky pull. Honestly, that was only 2 green. And so that probably wasn't the best example. But a lot of the times you're going to get a blue in there. I've had pulls where I got 3 blues off the bat just like that alone. And so even this was about 10 gold just for these 2 pulls. And you're going to be killing 8 packs every single run, which means you're going to be getting, at minimum, if we only get 2 coins, 40 gold per run. And so that's 200 gold per hour, just if you only get 2 greens per pools. And you're going to be getting a lot more than that. That's not including the additional ways to make money as well. So the second way to make money while you're doing your farms is actually through professions. And so herbing and mining is going to be very profitable throughout this dungeon. Now, the reason that herbing is going to be profitable is that each herb has a chance to give something called a bloodvine. So a bloodvine is going to be used to make the bloodvine armor sets, which is going to be probably one of the most sought after item sets once this drops, because it gives a ton of spell hit. So this is Warlock's first chance to get max spell hit. This is Mage's chance to catch up on spell hit if they're missing it on their gear. And so this is going to be imperative for raiding, and it's going to be very, very lucrative right off the bat. And so that's made by tailors. So if you're a tailor, you can make some good money with bloodvine crafting. And if you are a herbalist, you can make good money with farming the bloodvines. And the third way is actually through mining. And so here you can see over in the corner, we have a Hikari thorium vein. So this can drop arcane crystals just like the rest of the thorium veins, and they're scattered throughout the dungeon. You can really only get one per farm, but it's always seeming to be here. And you can see there's Mountain Silver Sage right in front of it that's also normally there. Now, before you start making serious money with the bloodvine farming, you have to do something for herbalism. And so that is to loot these jinxed hoodoo piles. And so every single farm we're going to be coming up and we're going to be killing these cats and then looting this pile, because you need to get something called a blood scythe. And that blood scythe is looted from the hoodoo pile. It may be lootable from mobs as well, but I know for a fact it's lootable from this hoodoo pile. And so we're going to be farming this over and over. Once you get the blood scythe, as soon as you loot this herb right here, you're going to be able to get potentially bloodvine, which they can then be sold. And it can come in 2 or 3 per each. And so you can make a lot of money with herbalism and mining on top. The bloodvine, the very first week, are going to be going for a ton, and they're still going to be going for a good amount throughout the entire raid, just because there's going to be so much crafted gear to actually make. So killing Crocolisk is going to give it really good money from farming bijous, green and blue. And then herbing is going to give a ton of money from farming with the blood scythe and farming bloodvine. Mining is going to give a good amount of money from the thorium vein that we're going to be getting every single run. And then the last one is going to be tailoring by actually making those sets. Okay, so just for those of you who do not know how to get to ZG, it is in the northeastern part of Stringthorn Vale. You just run up from Gromgold Base Camp, or from Booty Bay, or from up here for Alliance. And you run over into here, and then you need to be in a raid to enter. But you just, invite an alt if you're just doing it solo just to get into a raid. So real quick, I wanted to go over talents and gear. So for talents, you want to be doing the Flame Strike Shatter build. So I have the full video out on what the Flame Strike Shatter build is and goes into depth a bit more. But basically, it's our full Frost build with the exception of Frost Channeling. We don't have any points of Frost Channeling and only 2 points of Piercing Ice. Skip over our normal Frostbolt, skip over Frostbite, and skip over Winter's Chill. And then we come into Fire, and we go down, improve Fireball, Ignite for that extra damage on crits, improve Flame Strike for extra critting with Flame Strike, Master of Elements so that we get mana back as we're going, and Burning Soul just in case there is one mob hitting us. As far as gear goes, it's just pretty much your best spell power gear that you have. There's nothing crazy. I don't have a ton of gear, as you can see here, and I have the insignia of the Horde even. And so I'm not wearing any special gear or anything like that to do these farms. Just wear your best gear that you can, and it'll be easier. The one thing that you can get is the Mara Dagger. And if you have the Mara Dagger, that basically gives you unlimited mana. So that's the one thing that a lot of people are farming right now, just because it's going to be very useful to have for various farms, but especially for ZG farm, since it's a higher level farm or you're killing higher level elites. Okay, so here we are in ZG. We have both of the mages. We've come into ZG and gone just to the right side of, this upper kind of pillar. Sorry about the text on the left, that I didn't realize I was recording with right screen on when I was going, but you'll still be able to see everything that's important for the farm. And so here we're going to be going through, we're going to be timing exactly how long it takes to do the farm. I'm going to be showing you the farm. This is soloable as well, but I find that doing it with 2 mages reduces any chance of dying and just makes it all the more quicker, allowing you to potentially kill some extra packs. There is a pool out there that went up on Reddit recently that is a 8 pack at once farm, but unfortunately it's not very reliable just because these mobs actually have a very, very small leash window. And so if you can get really good at the leash window and making sure that you are keeping them stacked up like that and you can kill 8 at once, definitely feel free to go for that. But I think this is going to be a very reliable farm for people to do. One important thing you want to make sure that you do is when you're swimming, you want to swim on the bottom. There's a group over to the left side as you're swimming through, and if you don't hug the right wall and swim on the bottom, then you're going to potentially aggro them, and then you're going to have to reset. Now, over here, this right here, this little block, is a reset spot. And so if you do aggro them, jump up onto this reset spot, and you'll be fine. There's mobs that come through, and so you definitely want to watch out for the pats, and you want to make sure that you don't pull them. And so if they are there when you start the run, definitely just take a little bit. You're going to have plenty of time to do the run. Just let them run by so you aren't pulling them. There's also axe throwers that pat over here on this bridge, so just watch out for them as well, but you can get around them just by slow falling off here. So when we get started, we're going to cross the bridge and we're going to come around to this spot. And so this could be the first Crocolisk. And we're only going to focus on the Crocolisks and the tigers. So there's, throughout the entire dungeon, I believe 9 different Crocolisk spots, potentially 1 or 2 more that I just didn't see before. We're going to be killing 8 of them. We're going to get started here. So what you do is that you put on slow fall. And then you mount up, and you're going to aggro this group, and then you're going to go over and aggro another group. And we're going to be doing 2 groups at a time. That way we can be as efficient as possible. So you jump off right here. You want to try to not land in the water, or else you're going to be dismounted. You come over to the left, make sure to avoid the berserker on the right, and then you go and you get this Crocolisk group. I recommend waiting for them to get closer, or else they might leash onto your partner, or they might just be too far away. Come over, pick up this group with them, and then start kiting around in a circle. You want to make them just get as tight as possible. So this is just like our standard farm that we maybe used to use in ZF or something like that, just to kind of group up all the mobs on our mount. Once they're tightly grouped, then we can hop off of our mount, go for the Nova, and then get ready to get started. If one resists, and the nice thing about having another partner is that you can then have him Nova as well. Once there's 4 seconds left on Frost Nova, you want to be using your Flame Strike. And so basically you don't want to break Frost Nova early. If you Flame Strike immediately, what's going to end up happening is that you're probably going to break the Nova with your Flame Strike, and then the mobs are going to be scattered, but you want to keep them as tight as possible. And so you're going to see here, I'm going to wait until 4, and then we're going to get started. And as long as you and your mage, both your other mage friend, both wait until 4 seconds, you're both going to be able to get off Shatter Procs and just obliterate these mobs. So you can see here, we're already going into Arcane Explosion spamming, and you're good to go. And so we just get down these mobs real quickly just by doing Shatter Farm. And it's very, very easy with 2 mages. When you're doing this solo, it's a bit more difficult. You have to be really mana conservative unless you have the Princess Dagger. So the Princess Dagger is being farmed by a lot of groups right now to try to be able to farm this even quicker. And so that is a potential thing that you could be doing. And if you want to go for it, definitely feel free to go for it. It is something that I'm personally going for some other farms, but that will basically give you unlimited mana and you can burn through these groups very quickly. So hopefully I get the Princess Dagger soon and I can show you exactly how you can blow through them very quickly. But as you can see, we got 2 coins off of that group as well. Sometimes you're going to get bijous, sometimes you're going to get coins, but you're going to make a lot of money from this farm. I'm thinking, you know, a potential, if you're herbing and mining especially, a potential for upwards of 300, 400 gold an hour. Like this could be insane the very first couple of weeks. It's going to decrease in value after that just because people are going to be getting exalted. The people are rushing to get exalted and everything like that will have their bijous, but it's honestly still going to be a decent farm. I don't expect the blue bijous to go any lower than 10 gold. And so, I mean, even when you factor that in, you're still making a good amount of gold. And I think back in the day, it used to be 15 gold even. So now what you do on the right side is that you hug the wall. Hopefully you don't get dismounted so you can stay on your mount to aggro these 2 groups, but you're going to aggro up both of these groups and then bring them back. This is going to be one of the tighter of the kills you make, but what you want to do is you both want to block on top of each other. The person who did the aggroing wants to stay in the block while the other comes out of the block and Novas. Then you come out of your block and you blink away. Once you both blink away, you go into Blizzard rotation and you just drag them along the area. Now, the reason you don't want to be in the water is that there's these little fish, I think they're called Hikari Frenzy, and they aggro and they do actually a ton of damage, and so you don't want to be hitting them. But they also don't de-aggro, and so it's not like you can just go swim in the water real quick or anything like that. They are a pain to de-aggro, and if you're standing like right here, right on the edge of the water, they're 100% going to try to come up and hit you. And so what we do here, and there they are right now, Hook Tooth Frenzy. What we do right here is you just kill them as you walk back. And again, this is why it's beneficial to have 2 mages, but you burn them down real quick and then you're ready to go on to the next pack. So far it's been about 5 minutes that we've been in here and we've killed 4 packs of Crocolisks, making a very good amount of money. From this one, we got 2 green coins. Okay, so once you kill them, you're going to get over to the other side of the water. Now, again, like I said, there are the fish in the water, and so make sure that you eat and drink before you try to get over there, because you potentially could get killed if not. Also, make sure that you have mana rubies for every single pool, especially if you're going solo. This can be very mana intensive. These Crocolisks have something like 8,000 to 9,000 health, and they can take a long time to kill. So make sure that you're keeping up your mana ruby at all times, just in case you do run out of mana. Another way to conserve mana is that you need to focus on your shatter kills. And so every single time that you crit with your Frost Nova, or sorry, with your Cone of Cold, or it's really any fire or frost spells, but particularly your Cone of Cold or Flame Strike, you're going to be getting 30% of the mana back due to your talents. But what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to save as much mana as possible. And so, also, don't worry about aggroing these mobs up here. Just step to the side and they'll reset, so you're fine. And so what you want to be doing actually is when you don't have Nova up, you want to be using rank 1 Cone of Cold just to keep the mobs slowed. This is going to allow you to maintain maximum mana efficiency. And then when they are Frost Nova'd, so when you're pretty much guaranteed the crits, then you go for max rank Cone of Cold. And that way you're doing as much damage as possible while regenning as much mana as possible and conserving as much mana. That is only necessary when you're going for solo, but definitely could be useful for duo as well if you're having mana issues. Okay, so now we're going to be pulling these two groups of Crocolists right here. He's going to rank 1 Frostbolt that group, rank 1 Frostbolt that group, and then he's going to let them stack up in the middle. He realizes that he doesn't have block up, and so he has to kite them. But you can block here with a Cold Snap block. If not, though, don't worry about it. Just, move them in a position like that, and then go ahead and do that. I was thinking that they were going to come up the ramp, but they actually just scale up the mountain, for whatever reason. So just pay attention to where they're going to be pathing. Fortunately, if you have 2 blizzards, you don't really need to worry, just because you're able to take down these mobs and keep them slowed at all times. Now that they're up here, we're going to switch over to our Flame Strike Shatter spec. So 4 seconds left. Start doing the Flame Strike, Cone of Cold, and then kiting down the map with Arcane Explosion and everything like that. It's really easy to do this with 2 mages, but it's actually decently difficult with 1 mage. If you die, you have probably about a 3-minute run back, and then you have to run back to wherever you were before, and so it definitely is a little bit more difficult with the run back. You want to make sure, though, before you get started with these farms, that you have plenty of light feathers for slow fall, but that's really the only consumable that you're going to need. Okay, so here we got another 2 coins. We weren't very lucky with this farm, but I promise you that we've been getting some kills. From 2 packs, I've gotten 3 blues and 2 green coins, and so that alone, based on the first week's price, could be 85 gold. Just the 2 packs. It's incredible. So it's going to be completely RNG based, but it is going to be very, very good farm. I also recommend posting all of your bijous and coins daily. The reason being is that every single day the price is probably going to decrease, and so you definitely want to hit this hard the very first week. Now you're going to notice that there is a thorium vein up here on the right. Do not try to go for it. There's a pack where it's a priest, it's an axe thrower, and 2 bats. The bats aren't too hard to deal with, and you can think that you could sheep both the priest and the axe thrower, but unfortunately, the priest and the axe thrower, the priest itself pops an AMS, so it's immune, and it also heals itself and has a ton of health. So you're just going to end up dying. I don't recommend trying to pull them. But hug the right wall, watch out because there's a berserker pat, and then watch out for the axe throwers on the left before you get over to these cats. And then what I recommend doing is I recommend having 1 mage run in, aggro everybody up, and then block right in the middle, and then have the other mage blizzard off of them, and then you can go into a kill rotation from there. That way you're not worrying about, aggroing them all up on your mount. You can if you want. If you get used to that, it's definitely good as well. But then this way we could just take them out like this. And so here we just kite around in a circle. You're just alternating novas. This gets a little bit more sloppy for sure, just because the tigers actually run decently fast, but just constantly be repositioning and dropping down novas. If you want to have 1 person just rank 1 blizzard the entire time, while the other person just flame strike Cone of Colds and kites them around in a circle, that's definitely a great idea as well. That way the blizzard can constantly keep them slowed, and he'll never run out of mana, while the other person is actually doing all the damage and keeping aggro. But eventually you get down these tigers, and you can see here that we have in the middle this Hukari voodoo pile. On the right, we have a Mountain Silver stage, and on the right again, we have a thorium vein. So like I said, if you have mining and everything like that and herbalism, you're going to be making a ton of money from this farm. So definitely pick up both of those if you want to make the maximum money. But we loot this pile right here. We unfortunately do not get the blood scythe out of it, but you have a chance to get the blood scythe every single time. Here we only get 5 rune cloth, but definitely keep an eye on that. And then here we come up, I grab the silver stage, he grabs the bind. He doesn't get an arcane crystal, but you can. So after this, we're going to do 1 more pool of Crocolisks, just because we're 11 minutes in. Every single farm is going to be about 15 minutes. Now, if you, during the first hour, want to do 5 resets, and you guys are just farming this constantly, definitely feel free to reset at this point. And by resetting, you can just log out and then reset with an alt. Okay, so we decided not to reset, and we're going to go down to the bottom pack just to pull that as well, because I realized that we're only 12 minutes in, and this would be a great clip for a video. And so I decided to use it for the video, and That's why all the chat is on the left and everything like that, but hopefully you guys are still enjoying the actual pulls themselves. So the last 2 packs we're going to be pulling are these 2 Crocolisk packs on the right here. And so there is one Crocolisk pack that we did not pull way back at the front, but these are pretty much the only other 2 and the other 2 that we're going to be worrying about. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pull them to this little camp right here. And so if you go ahead and you have one person mount up and run right over to this section, they will aggro a Hakari Frenzy, but don't worry about that, or a Hook Tooth Frenzy, but don't worry about that because at the end of the day, they're not going to hit you as long as you're out of the water. Don't wait for mount though. I waited for mount here thinking that I could get out of combat just by standing on the land right here. But it turns out that even if they're just over here somewhere, they're still keeping you in combat. Just get started with it, just wand and then counterspell and then pull immediately. So here I just decide, all right, we're not going to get out of combat, so let's just get started. You wand. You go over to the other mob and you pull them with a counterspell, or you just face pull them, whichever one works. Blink over to the other side and come into this area. Now you have block up again, and so you're going to block right here in the middle. Let them stack up. You're going to watch their hit timers because they're all going to be hitting you at about the same time because they got to you at the same time. So you're going to watch for them all to hit you at once, and then you're going to come out of block and you're going to go for the Nova. And then you can just go into your standard Flame Strike, Cone of Cold rotation as you work up the pathway on your right. It's real easy to kill these mobs. Like I said, if you have 2 mages, you can spam Arcane Explosion, and you can burn through the packs in like a minute. If you only have 1 mage, though, it's going to take probably about 3 minutes per pack unless you have the dagger. And so, personally, I like doing a 2-mage strategy. Or if you want to bring a Holy Priest and you want to have heals and things like that, that's another safe way to do it. You could definitely do it with a Priest as well. You could do it with any healer. You could probably do it with a Hunter. There's a bunch of different classes that you could do this farm with. But I recommend having 2 people and just splitting the gold. You're going to be making a ton of gold regardless, and so it's better to play it safe and just get all the items that you can in the first week. And so you can see here, we got a blue, we're getting 3 coins, and so this is one of the lucrative pools. And so if we take all the money from here, we're looking at about 40 gold just from that one drop alone. And so from all of these, we got, about 70 gold just from this one run alone based on the first week's prices. To reset, what you do is you hop over to a Horde tune, because I'm on the Horde. So I'll hop back over to a Horde tune. And then what you do is you invite the alt to the group, you log out, and it resets. A lot of people believe that since it's a raid, you can't do this, but the mobs actually are going to reset with your standard reset that you would use for any other dungeon. But now you'll be right back at the front of the dungeon, ready to go through the grind again. All right, everyone, that wraps up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment below to let me know so. And if you guys have any other ideas for any other videos, please let me know in the comments below. Also, check out the description for the Twitch where I do all this live, and also for my Twitter and Discord where you guys can be notified of any future updates and when I'm going to go live on stream. So I'll see you guys in the next video.